Hi guys, welcome back to exmolex. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you're not new here, check to make sure you're subscribed. I've gotten several comments recently from people telling me that YouTube has unsubscribed them from my channel even though they wanted to be subscribed, so just check. Today I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind recently, and that is how being raised in a cult still affects my everyday life even though I left 2 years ago. If you're curious about why I call the Mormon Church a cult or what qualifies it to be a cult, I will leave links to videos I've done in the description. I'm not going to be talking about what makes the church a cult today. I've talked about that before, and it's not a question, it's just a reality. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a destructive cult. If you want to know why, links in description. A pretty large percentage of the comments I get from Mormons, and even sometimes from non-Mormons, is, if you left the church, then why are you still talking about it? If you're not a member, then why do you care? Why don't you just leave it alone? And again, I've done a video about that and I will link it in the description. But there is one specific reason that I do want to talk about today. One of the many reasons that I still talk about the church is that being raised in a church like that still affects my everyday life. Imagine that. Hashtag just cult things. So today I want to tell you 5 things about being raised in a cult that still affect me to this day. Number 1, I still get church hymns stuck in my head on at least a weekly basis. In the Mormon church, you sing hymns a lot. Obviously every Sunday, but also for family home evening on Mondays, for young men's or young women's once a week, for seminary or institute. Not to mention just hearing them on repeat at home. My family had the Mormon Tabernacle Choir on cassette tape, and they played that over the surround sound system at least once a week. So these songs are deeply ingrained into my brain. Sometimes I will hear a phrase that reminds me of one, or maybe a melody that reminds me of one, and bam, it's going to be stuck in my head for an hour. Church music, for me personally, was one of the strongest forms of indoctrination, so it's not exactly surprising that the music has stuck with me so much. I could sit down at a piano right now and play the hymns and sing along to it like I was just at a church service yesterday. And the last time I attended church as a believing Mormon was over 2.5 years ago. Has the indoctrination stuck with me? Absolutely, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get rid of it. Number 2, this one has happened with less and less frequency as time has gone on, but it still happens every now and again. Garment checking people. Specifically noticing when a clothing item isn't modest according to the church's standards. And in case you're not aware, the LDS Church's modesty standards are no shoulders showing, no low-cut tops because we don't want to see cleavage, no back showing, no midriff showing, and shorts and skirts must be to the knee. So obviously, the average person is going to show more skin than that, especially in hot weather. If a person wears a tank top, sometimes that is the first thing I notice about them. I hate it. I wish it didn't happen, but sometimes it does. And I still notice it in the mirror sometimes too if I'm wearing a tank top. It's bizarre, I hate it, but the church really cracks down on the whole modesty thing. Especially for young women. I heard modesty lessons constantly in church. I heard it from my family members too. There was a time when I was in either junior high or high school, and I think I wore a tank top in a MySpace photo, and my mom cried. There was another time that I was wearing shorts, and my older brother called me out in front of everybody for wearing shorts that were too short for the Sabbath. I would love to forget about these kinds of things, but so far it has stuck with me. Number 3, Mormon swears. Oh my gosh. Dang it. What the frick? I still say these things on accident sometimes. Sometimes I do it on purpose, like if I'm on the phone with my mother, but other times I'm trying to say God damn it, and I get a darn it instead. It's a little frustrating, not a big deal, but it does take me back sometimes. The thing about Mormon swears that's really annoying to me is that when you're doing it, it's in the same exact spirit regardless of whether you're saying damn it or darn it. If you're saying oh my God versus oh my gosh, it's the same thing. It's a dumb thing to get hung up on, but Mormons get hung up all over it. Here are a few Mormon swears that my parents and grandparents used in place of real swear words all the time. Dang, darn, gall, garbage, rats, and my personal favorite, balls. Number 4, and this one kind of goes along with the modesty thing, but with a twist. Things that aren't up to the church's standards, be they tattoos, piercings, alcohol, coffee, swear words, etc. I notice those so fast and often in a negative way. It's ridiculous and it pains me to say it because I myself have tattoos, I have piercings, I swear, I do everything that I just listed. And yet, when seeing someone or meeting someone for the first time, if they have any of that going on, it's like my brain has to do a double take. So my immediate subconscious thought would be something like nose piercing, holding a coffee, with almost like a negative connotation in my mind. And then my following thought would be like, why does my brain do that? Her septum piercing is super cute and I love her outfit. It drives me bonkers. And like I said, it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen on occasion. I really hate that the church implanted in my brain this idea that your body does not belong to you. Your body is a temple and it belongs to God. No, your body is yours and only yours. You get to choose what you want to do with it, how you want to dress it, what you want to eat and drink, how you want to decorate it. Someday I really hope that stops. And number 5, prayer. This one bugs me the most, I think. It happens at different times. The most simple and unobtrusive would be when I sit down to eat dinner with my family. I have been so used to praying over meals that every time we sit down to eat dinner, I immediately have like, oh, let's not forget to say the prayer. Or sometimes there's like this weird moment of silence when you first start eating where everybody takes the first bite and it's quiet and I'll be like, oh, we forgot to say the prayer. Like, no, we don't do that because we're atheists. We don't believe in God. Why would we pray? And I usually try to replace it in my mind with some kind of simple thought of gratitude for the fact that we were able to work hard to buy the food and that I was able to prepare the food. The more annoying way that this manifests itself is if I either have a big decision to make or if something really, really bad happens and I feel like I need help. I seriously cannot be in one of those situations without immediately thinking of prayer. It's like it's lodged in my DNA. As soon as I was old enough to string 2 words together, I was taught to pray over everything. Everything. Every time I lost something, if I wanted a good grade, if I was sad, if I was scared, I prayed over everything because I was taught to pray always. So now it still occurs to me to pray even though I have no belief in any gods. I actually posted on this, I think on Facebook a while back, but I have this Mormon friend who posted about their child on Instagram or something. And basically their 2-year-old child got in trouble and was sent to their room. And the mom has a camera in the room watching the child. And the child's crying and throwing a fit and then starts praying to Jesus to get them out of timeout. And the mom, when she heard this, immediately went and let the child out of timeout because, quote, I have to let them know that prayer works. That is exactly how I was raised. It's incredibly manipulative and it sticks with you when you are taught like that from a young age. Just this past week, I've been considering whether or not it's time to retire this car and replace it. And that's a really big decision for me. And of course, because it's a big decision, one of the first things that entered my mind was pray about it. And when I was Mormon, I absolutely would have prayed about it. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I prayed over that exact same type of decision at least 6 times. I really hope that someday that feeling goes away, but child indoctrination runs deep and I'm not going to count on it. So, does anyone else relate? Some of these things are really embarrassing, honestly, and it was kind of hard to say out loud. So I'm hoping that some of you get it. Were you raised in a cult and now still struggle with that indoctrination? It doesn't have to be the Mormon church. Let me know if there's still things that you struggle with after leaving your cult. For example, I've spoken to a lot of people who still struggle with guilt even though they left years ago. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the channel. And a special thank you to Anthony Guthrie, at Keegar, Craig Call, Jake Nunyabiz, and Melissa Jane for supporting at the Demon tier on my Patreon. I love you all so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you next time. Bye!